I'm gonna go for Skype because probably TeamSpeak sound's gonna be messed up.
Hey guys.
Down Filthy.
Hey.
Hey. This last game with their primary tech being archery was kind of a new one for me. Normally we at least get the combos, but or chariots. You know, a lot of chariots normally, but this one a little different.
Yeah, who cares about that stuff?
Yeah, you just need archers, man. That's all.
Just need hammers, right? Good game, Tony. Oh, it's not Tony.
Yeah, GG, Mr. Tony. Is he gonna show up or not? He's not in the mood for talking anymore.
Say what?
I wonder if Tony's gonna show up or he's not in the mood for talking. I don't think so.
Maybe he's too tired. I was not expecting that at all, Filthy. I was calling most likely GG way earlier. I was thinking.
Yeah, I need
I was
to turn
thinking
off
you
Skype.
would not.
When you settled Solomon's, you mean?
Basically, when the religions started happening, I was really thinking that Tony was gonna push through with the science lead from church property, and I was expecting him to eventually get the crossbow.
I'm gonna quickly rejoin TeamSpeak because that messed up a little bit. Bum. Connect. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. There we go.
Good effect since I couldn't develop any of the land around it. There was no luxuries in that spot either. So I was very unhappy at the beginning of the game, and I couldn't get trapping to get the close. I believe it was an ivory or something near it.
See, from my perspective, I was so worried at the beginning of that game. When you didn't settle for 3 turns, I realized you were going for something sweet. And then when I looked at when you did settle, and I looked at the hammers on the first turn, you were like 10 hammers on like turn 1. I'm like, or turn first settle. I'm like, fuck, he's got Solomon's Mines. Where is it?
Yeah, but it also cost me. There was a 0 gold around that pile, so my capital had no gold. All I had was Solid Mines and a horse and a bison, which had no effect on the game whatsoever. So I was looking for basically secondary cities to develop with. And as you can see, the map was very light on resources, very light on luxuries. Though everything was really spread out, so your cities were basically more concentrated than mine.
I think it's just a matter of cities, basically. At some point, I'm like, you got the religion going, but at some point, like, Filthy was still expanding, like, getting workers, building up stuff, and just stopped. And I don't know if you noticed that, but when you connected those 2 big cities, you went finally positive gold. So, like, holding back on city connections was a huge mistake there.
Well, the problem was I couldn't connect the trapping city. So if I build that city to connect the north one, I have to connect a city in between there, and there was 0 hills. So the only spot I can get a city in between my empire was the trapping spot, and I didn't have trapping, which is probably my fault. I should have got it maybe before calendar. Maybe I should have got it faster. With a 0 gold in my empire and all those early units, I was negative gold for a long time. And I was trying to just hold off and hope my religion would save me with +2 gold per city, and it didn't. I was extremely poor. I don't know how you did. You were holding on to your gold there, but mine was terrible.
He was not. It's minus 100 gold.
It's because Filthy settled on incense. That's the only reason.
Yeah, on the early gold. That's what I meant.
Things. So the early gold was from. I settled on incense. I settled on luxuries pretty much all the way across. The only things that stopped me from that Uluro, when we were contesting that bottom Uluro, that fucked me so hard because I messed up my settle there. I was trying to settle 1 tile to the southwest. Even after you settled, I wanted to settle 1 tile southwest of where I settled because it blocked 2 of my expansions that I wanted to go down almost perfectly on the luxuries. I mean, I settled on luxuries almost entirely through that game. I think I was settled on 3 luxuries or 4 luxuries or something.
Yeah, I did the same. We pretty much, except for the silver city, which was my mistake. I didn't explore on my side of the map very well, so my silver city was basically a blocker city on a luxury for extra gold, but actually that city was just very bad for me. I should have had the same silver spot that you took, but I never explored it on my side of the map.
I saw how late you were too. I was really lucky. I think early game, like for me, I was worried you were going to use that early hammers into military and try to pressure me off all my starts. I mean, I went archery like straight off the bat because I'm like, okay, I'm going to have some sort of military that can deal with his early pressure.
It was very smart to go archery. That archery did push me off most of my stuff, plus the jungle plants you did. It was pretty close to impossible to get through that defensive line you had, and since you have shorter lines of reinforcements, since I have to get all the way from my capital, which takes about 6-7 turns, no roads, and the Solomon Mine City, which is very unhelpful. I decided to just hold on to my military with no signs, no gold, and hope that my religion will spread fast enough to fix all those problems.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think you were still in it up until you lost the general. You tried that kind of push on me, and I'm not sure exactly why you were pushing into me, but I was like totally happy to take the defensive posture there. And then like setting up that general kill, honestly, is what I felt like just shifted the balance, because I would have had a hard time pushing into you without the general advantage that I had. And once I got that general, I'm like, okay, I can start pushing here and I can start planting citadels to get in.
General was to plant yours, basically, so we can fight a general citadel war. I was very happy to fight a citadel war since I have you outnumbered 2-1 on generals. I also
Why
had
did you
the
have me
honor one.
outnumbered 2-1 on general? I had the honor one too. Also had the opener, the Liberty one.
You had the Liberty one as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think you were ever ahead of me in generals.
No, I guess I wasn't. Maybe I was assuming I was, because I did get the Liberty policy faster than you did, and I also got the honor policy faster than you did. But at one point, I was just hoping that my pagodas would save me. I built basically 4 or 5 pagodas, giving me +2 happiness, culture, and all that stuff. And it gave me nothing. I got absolutely nothing from it. Without any city connections, I was still extremely poor. Selling I don't know how many units I had to sell, how many buildings I had to sell just to get trapping, just to hopefully get horseback riding, but she never appeared. I was one point getting Great Live, trying to get riding to get Great Live. I basically held off on 1 turn. And just I can get myself the Great Live, so I can get horseback riding and I can do a proper push. But we only had 4 horses.
Yes.
So it was like, well...
Dude, 4 horses was so bad for both of us that game. It sounds like if you might have been able to do something with horsemen. But for me, it was like, it's so hard to push with archers as opposed to chariots. Like, chariots are just so much better than archers, and only being able to build 4 of them was brutal.
Since I couldn't get trapping, you got chariots maybe 10-15 turns before me, if not more. I don't really know exactly. But you had earlier chariots than I did. I had the wheel, but I mean, barely after you. So it was very difficult to get anything to the front lines. You were able to flank my position quite often. I couldn't get a single unit through any weak spots. I tried going through the south, you blocked me. I tried going through the north, you blocked me. It was basically, only thing we can do is push through the middle. And since you had defensive hills on your side and I didn't, I was pushing onto the hills to get you off yours. You basically held on to that north spot very well. I couldn't go through, and that south city basically was surrounded by jungle, and the only way I can do is go around you, and the mountains were blocking. So I couldn't get any roads to you, and I couldn't road myself, which maybe I should have did earlier, since it did cost me quite a lot.
Yep. I still think the second game was fairly good, though. I mean, it sounds like you were running into trouble that I didn't notice, but I also was feeling like the game was closer than that, because I felt like I was on a ticking time bomb, right? Like, as soon as your religion stabilizes, if your religion stabilizes your gold and your tech starts going, I'm in trouble. So, like, it had to be, I mean, it was pretty close. I mean, you were getting composite bows at the end there, and horsemen both, and I wasn't close to either of those techs. So, I mean, like, your tech lead was starting to sort itself out. If I hadn't been able to push when I did, I think it would have been a different game.
Yeah, but you also had the 20 to 30 hammer more than I did. I mean, I'm working all hammers, all cities, and you still have a 20 to 30 lead on me? I don't know where your hammers are coming from. I have the policy for +1 hammer per population 3, which at the beginning didn't have very much effect, but once all my cities became like 2 or 3 or something, you know, it's something that I should have at least an even or maybe an advantage over you. But then you had 25 hammers more than me. And I'm like, well, that's like 3 units per turn, whole game that I can't stop.
I wonder, Yoris, were you watching the game? Did I settle more cities than Tony?
No, we settled even cities.
3 more cities.
No?
Nope.
How are you holding on to your happiness? You were even happiness to positive happiness the whole game.
He was able to buy pagodas finally, so... Like, your religion... He did perfect stuff, basically. He did not get the religion to himself, basically, so he just... At the end of the game, he had double your fate per turn, okay? So, the longer the game would last, he would, like, get even more happiness than you, because he did plant more of the city. So he was running at -1.
I built shrines once I realized I wasn't going to be able to... Once I realized my city was never going to grow to Uluro, which was pretty frustrating, I built shrines so I could take advantage of your pagodas, and then I generaled your Uluro. I ended up taking that city fairly shortly afterwards, but the plan was to be able to use pagodas. I had another settler ready to expand. I wanted 1 more expand, and I was pretty close to planting it a number of times. I didn't quite have the happiness. City connections, I think, is really what we're saying made this game different.
Yeah,
You wanna talk
basically
Yeah.
your whole 5 cities were connected, or 6 cities were connected, which gives you +5, and I was on +0 on connections.
Dude, you
I
didn't
was
have any city connections?
No.
Oh my god.
No.
I
No.
was
His last
basically
2 cities were never connected.
I was basically holding off on road because basically it's a 10 tile to the front lines, and there's no city in
Yeah,
between.
but that's a mistake. That's
I
a huge
was
mistake.
I was
That
minus
trapping city was
102
expensive.
GPT at the end of that turn, like end of that game, because I had a road on pretty much every tile and like
Well, your GMP
everywhere.
was twice mine, basically. I'm surprised you
Yeah,
weren't
but
losing
that
units.
didn't matter.
I'm surprised you weren't losing units to.
Once every 5 turns he did lose. I mean, like, he lost 3 units, I think, to the gold, basically.
Yeah, I was expecting to lose more units if you're that negative, but it didn't really matter. You were basically rebuilding free units on me because your hammer count was so high.
Yeah.
And your pyramids was a very big wonder for you. I could never get it because I never got mausoleum. I never got masonry, which stopped me from getting mausoleum. And then when you got that, I knew I was in trouble on the gold wise. I knew you were going to get some science through it. So I was basically holding on to my generals and then holding on to some defense in the middle ground. I might have been overzealous destroying the whole forest in the middle there. I don't know if you noticed that, but there was a huge lot of forest on my side.
Yeah, so you chop it all up.
I basically chopped every single tile that I could chop in the whole like section between my cities. So there wasn't anything else unless I go get Colosseums for production. And I couldn't find any hills in between my capital and the front lines. There's just all plains and chopped forests. So I was going to say, well, composite bows probably would have saved me if I rushed it. I think if I rushed composite bows, I would have done a much better job. I thought, I basically made a few very poor tech paths. No trapping, cost me that trapping city, cost me the road connection. Very early I would have had it. And then I screwed up on a few minor details that from fighting. Like your fast clicks, I was expecting to be faster than you, and I wasn't on any of the fights. Basically, you got first click on which got me my general basically. And
Every single time.
Every single time.
Every single time.
You were more prepared than I was, I guess, on how I was gonna play than I was on maybe how you were gonna play. You played very differently from your previous games, so I was expecting you to play this similar pattern. And the first game, obviously, that's how you did exactly what I didn't want you to do. Settle scouts behind my capital, which you never did previously, which is, I'm assuming you maybe followed my direction to do that.
The first game, I would love to talk about the first game. The first game was very different.
Yeah.
That was
First game, I had a bunch of people come over. First game, I had a bunch of people come over and then start bugging me. Oh, I play Civ 3, I play Civ 4, I have this, and I'm like, get the fuck. Oh, I lost my general. Oh, I lost my city plan. And it's like, okay, this is it. Get the hell out of the stupid apartment. You're all banned from. Go outside. I don't care. And then game 2, I was like, okay, more serious. I was by myself, and then I had the room to myself, and I can concentrate on more of a long-term plan. And it just that King Solomon Mines, even though it seemed
Tony,
really good,
there's a question
from
from Matters. What were your plan with the Great Light going for writing? Composites?
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't think I was gonna be able to tech anything. So if I can get a 4 or 5 turn Great Live, which I could do with the King Solomon Mine City, I didn't have to tech anything anymore. So I was kind of hoping I would get an easy tech on him. At one point, I just wanted writing just because I wanted the free science. Nothing really much. And at that point, we were even in army. He had a production lead at me, which is very painful, but I was even on army and I was holding the middle ground, which is, for me, it was a good thing. But then he just started building way more units. Well, I wasn't basic. And then when my reinforcements never arrived, since he had road connections at this point already up everywhere, his cities were better placed for strategic fighting. I had 3 cities that were completely out of range of anything, and once the middle city got blocked, Filthy was able to remove my Tours, which is my only city that had hills. Out of all my whole empire, that was the only city that had any hills, and I couldn't produce anything in my other cities. So I just basically couldn't do anything. The map was just very uncomfortable, though. I mean, it was pretty even, but at one point you're just staring at the map and you're like, well, what the hell do I do with this map? It's like there's no horses on the whole map, which is just weird.
Grim Stripper is asking a question. What were you thinking, Tony, bidding me in semi-finals only to lose to Filthy Archer spam?
Yeah, well,
I kind of would like Thank you, Tony. I think it was the second game was very, very close in my opinion. I think if that had gone a little longer or the timing had been slightly different, I think you would have been able to defend with combos. I think would have been turning around.
Game
I did have a question for Joris and Arvis though, because they were watching both streams. They had a kind of overarching perspective that both of us were missing. And I kind of wanted them to maybe take a moment to talk a little bit about what they thought about the two games. Can you identify where some of the mistakes were made, where some of the what changed those games? Can you maybe tell us? Because I'm kind of curious.
Well, who wants to go first?
Well, you go on.
Alright, well the first game, I think Tony, you should have planted 2 tiles from both of the horses. I think you got too greedy with the settler move.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Like, oh my god, once that happened, it was like, GG. No one
I think he got pushed into my capital early with his units.
Yeah, that's two mistakes in the first game from Tony, basically. The first one...
I think the settler was a fine idea.
Now, I'm talking now. Go away, I'm talking now. So, the first one was pushing the units into your capital, because what could possibly that game? I mean, like, Tony had fortified 4 units in a very nice straight line on those hills. Just plant the city even in the middle there, like delay the settler from getting in there. Sit a unit on every single tile that he can plant on to get your first settler there to the mid, and it's fine. But he decides to go into your capital, so he loses 2 units, he needs to back off. Now you're pushing away, and then he gets greedy with the settler. And like, how could you possibly get greedy against Filthy? He was getting fast clicks. 2 mistakes, huge mistakes.
I don't think the pushing into the city was that horrible, but it's a gamble, but it relies on you getting those first clicks and the first move, and that's where it becomes a questionable play.
Yeah, I didn't get those first moves, but I believe the first to move into the city was... The settler would never have been a problem if I didn't move into the city. I moved into the city hoping I would have first clicks on Filthy, because I pretty much believed I would. I was very confident I would have all first clicks on him this game. So at the beginning of the game, there wasn't really a problem with it. I had our first blood on the first scout. I had his city surrounded like I wanted to. So I presumed that he wouldn't have any clicks on me. At that point, I decided, well, I can get that worker away from his happiness, because I didn't have the happiness on the start, which, by the way, Filthy had a much better city plant than I did. His first game, the settler plant on the right side of the river, was a lot smarter than my plant. So he was able to get the ivory very fast, which also helped him on the gold, and he also got to worker very fast, which was a smart thing from your part. So I was hoping to get rid of the ivory, get a heal, and steal the worker, destroy the worker, and then go plant my cities how I felt. When that failed, I gambled on the settler. I believed, but at that point I was getting harassed at home, and I should have gotten a faster click, but I wasn't concentrating on 100%, and that's my fault. But you did get more clicks than I even thought. At one point I ran away with a settler, and I had first click.
Oh, I know, you had first click 2 moves in a row. I'm like, and then like, he's gonna get away. And then I got it on the 3rd move. I'm like, nice.
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying. And then I'm like, well, how come I got the first 2, but I missed the only one that's important, the 3rd one. So that basically had me with 2 scouts in the red and a losing position on the front, and you had the quick archer, the faster warrior, and that scout that came through the back. That scout that came through the back was just very smart. It's basically what I do all the time. But you, with your extra units, were able to hold on to 1 unit, protecting your horse tile. And once you had that horse tile hooked up in your capital, which appeared right beside your city, mine was a little farther away since I had to cross the river. I'm like, well, he's gonna just go chariot rush. So I'm assuming since he has horses already worked, he has his trapping worked. I'm gonna gamble my settler, hoping to land on his horse, and it just didn't work out very well.
Yep. And the second game, I actually like. I really like your early game choices, but at some point, basically, like all the stream was saying, "Oh, GG, Filthy, you're gone from this game." I was saying, "Wait up, wait up. Religion for Tony needs to kick in around 50 turns." So the Filthy has no construction, no nothing. He still has like 50 turns to go and try to crush you, which he perfectly did. So basically that less cities, no city connections, though that one attack, the one attack I liked because it allows you to reach attack, but the second one I didn't really like.
Which one was that, yours?
I mean, like the first one attack in the second game when you like pillage the iron stuff, the first on the city of near Uluru that you had at the start. So basically that give you some gold and you reached attack. I don't remember exactly what tech that was, but you lost a couple of units in the process. Okay, fine, but you did the gold, you get the tech, and then okay, but you backed off. And now, just like Filthy had the hammer lead, he was like building up troops and troops and troops. No worries about gold whatsoever. And you're not making settlers, you're not making roads, you're not connecting anything in hopes to get a tech. And then it doesn't work well. So basically, give exactly what Filthy needed. Like Filthy was all in army, and you were trying to conserve your gold, which did not work out that well in the end. Instead of like getting the road connections, getting the units, getting the cities, and maybe delay the religion kick in for like 20, maybe 30 turns more, but staying alive. And then just simple fast clicks all day long, all day long.
There's some turns where I wasn't trying to fast click towards the end there. Like once, I mean, there's a time to fast click, right? When you have a clear objective in mind, then fast clicking makes some sense. Just fast clicking everywhere, I like sometimes to sit back and take a second to make decisions of how I want to push things. And that doesn't always happen with fast clicks. But
well,
yes.
Fast clicking usually is on the generals or on special units, settlers and stuff
Yes.
like that, or easy kills. Which at the one point, since you have an overarching army advantage, easy kills don't mean too much. You were able to use your pyramids very well to go in between, flank most of my units. On especially that last one, as an example, I was going to plant another general on my city, and then you were able to put a chariot in between, which stopped my general from moving.
I'm gonna tell you a little thing though. Basically, how comfortable Filthy was at fighting because of the hammer advantage. At some point during the turn, it was basically Filthy, like boom, 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 all the units moved, and he gets back to the cities, okay? And you're like for 20 seconds still like figuring out what to do at the front,
Yep.
moving the units and so on.
Yep,
It's like
at one point in game 2, I'm looking at the screen and I'm like, well, where can I go with any strategy? We're basically pushing through the middle. You have chariots going through the middle with your roads. I have no connection to that section with any roads. My roads to Taurus is basically in an arc pattern to my capital. There's no direct route there. There's no city in between there either. It's basically a giant part of dead land. Once you cracked my original defensive line, which is why I wanted to put the general on, why I wanted to start with a general, I should say, because if I can hold a citadel spot, it would basically give me enough time to finish my roads. And once that didn't happen, you went through very easily. And I committed quite a lot of units to hold that position, and you were outbuilding me with units.
Exactly. Alright guys, do we have any more questions? I don't think people are actually trying to figure out questions they would like to know. Seems like they do know all the things that
when you're watching both streams, there's not too many questions left.
Yeah. So, GG, guys. Congrats, Filthy, on winning.
Thank you.
Impressive.
Yours, can you talk to us just a little bit about where are these replays going to be? I mean, maybe Core can chime in on this. I know a lot of my viewers are going to want to watch this at some point. Where can they find the videos of the day for this, the replays? Where are they going to be out? Where are those going to be hosted?
Car.
I think Core's mic is not available, but maybe he could type and we could be his mouthpiece.
Just typed in the message.
If you have a question, Shumi, just message me. Yours? He says that we still have time to play in FFA.
I do. Tony, you're up for a free roll.
At this point, I'm not expecting to be dead at 5 o'clock or 4:30 around. So,
we were worried about having to do a whole second day of this, so yeah.
Yeah,
these games are quick. That first game was very, very quick.
That first game was my fault, completely my fault. If I didn't push on to that early unit around your capital, like I did, and hopefully I get a click on you. If I didn't do that, I get both horses, and I plant both of them. and basically I zone of control you out of the game. I got very greedy. I expected some other result, I should say.
Cor, so?
Cord just told us he will export them to his YouTube, and he says you and I are welcome to put it on our YouTube as well. Okay, so for the viewers then, basically, there's going to be 3 different ways you can get a hold of the replays. There'll be some on yours' stream, some on yours' YouTube, some on my YouTube, and then some on Core's YouTube. Excellent. So I'll let people check the games out. For example, I want to go check the games out. I want to go watch from Tony's point of view. I want to go see what he was thinking. So they're very cool games.
Right, GG, then thank you very much.
GG, guys.
Thanks, Arvius, for joining. And first of all, thank you, Core, for organizing this.
Yes, I would like to
thanks,
Core for organizing as well.
Yes, very, very cool.
And the gaming resorts. Good job.
Thank you for participating.
Hopefully the people will be more interested in watching future tournaments that hopefully we can get us set up. And if you're mentioning other people, get them to watch our streams. The more people we have watching, the better it is for us. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good day.
Cheers, Tony.
Yeah,
good game.
Exactly.
Corey.
So, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I hope you enjoyed. GG. Good job to Filthy. Congrats on winning the tournament. Where is my YouTube? FilthyRobot YouTube channel. Yeah, there we go. There's the link. And Maya is on my channel. I'm gonna just type some message in here.
Filthy did a very good job studying me. Very good job.
Yes.
You didn't play at all the same way you played against Fred.
Just out of curiosity, what do you think that means, the same way I played against Fred? Because I'm curious what you think changed.
You basically were playing on a one-axis version. You just move units from left to right. You didn't hover on any weaknesses in the map that you can take advantage of with scouts and settlers. You were holding all the units in one section, and you never had any signs. Like the whole masonry thing for, I think, game 1, I believe it was, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like 100 turns, you never got it. And in this game, you went straight for all those important techs. And you held on to like all the like you stopped me from like stealing any, pillaging, anything like that I usually do. So in that games, I always say to people that you should always protect near the ice in case some other scout comes through. And this game, you basically did both. You stopped me on both games from flanking you very much. And you always had a scout on the opposite position of my city, which I tell people in duels is very important because you can always find a settler or worker or something very important, and it's hard to kill when the armies are very far away. You didn't do that in any of your games, so that's what I'm saying, that you played differently.
Gotcha. Well, cheers, Tony. Anyways, guys, good game. Very cool tournament, but I think I need to disappear off for a little bit, so GG, guys.
Alright, so one more time, thank you very much for watching, guys. I'm gonna end the stream right now. Just muted the TeamSpeak so I can finish off this stream. One more time, GG, congrats to FilthyRobot for winning. But GG, and thanks for participating to everybody. Thank you very much to all the commentators of this game. And first of all, thank you very much for Core and the Gaming Research to organize this game. So, I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Okay, give me a second. Core just sent me a message. Yes, that we will host more tournaments, and he will host most tournaments as long as there will be people watching. This is how this works. So, watch. More. So, one more time, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Best wishes.